Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Thomas, and if there's one thing life has taught me so far, it's this. No matter how strong, loyal, or committed you think you are, nothing can prepare you for the pain that comes when the person you trust most looks you in the eye and lies, while betraying you behind your back. Deep down, I think every man fears the same thing. Working day and night to provide, to give his wife everything she could ever want, only to find out she's sharing herself with another man, doing things you never believed she was capable of. That happened to me, and honestly, I still don't have the perfect words to explain what it did to me. It feels like something inside you shatters, except nobody else hears it. You walk around smiling like everything's fine, but deep down you feel like a fool. This is the story of how my wife played me until I finally caught on. Ashley, my wife, was everything I'd ever dreamed of. Smart, beautiful, full of life. We'd been together for years, surviving a long-distance relationship before finally getting married. I truly thought I'd found my forever. We were married for over a decade. Sure, we had ups and downs, but I believe we had something solid. I worked my tail off to make sure she never had to want for anything. She had love, security, comfort, everything. I made sure of it. I poured my heart, my time, and every ounce of energy into giving her the life I thought she deserved, financially and emotionally. Then everything came crashing down. Even now, I keep asking myself, what was missing? What more could she possibly want that I didn't give her? I gave her everything. I supported her, loved her, kept her safe, and made her happiness my priority. I still can't make sense of it. We weren't perfect, but we were good. I was so focused on providing for us that I didn't see what was happening right under my nose. I first heard about it through a casual comment from a close friend. He said, "Hey man, I've been hearing some things about Ashley." My mind immediately dismissed it. Gossip, that's all it had to be. People talk when they're bored. I told him he was being ridiculous. There was no way Ashley would cheat. She was my wife. We had built a life together. Nobody knew her the way I did. I brushed it off. I didn't want to believe it. But then, a few weeks later, one of my neighbors casually mentioned, "Hey, I've noticed some guy comes over a lot when you're not home. I mean, you work late, so maybe it's nothing, but it just seems odd." He said it jokingly, but it stuck with me. Now, it wasn't just one person. Two different people in a matter of weeks had brought up something strange about Ashley, and a man I didn't even know. That's when I started looking at things differently. I had been working long hours, exhausted most nights, while Ashley stayed home working remotely. Suddenly, I started wondering, is she taking advantage of my absence? The thought of another man being close to her felt like a knife in my chest. So I decided to surprise her. I took time off work, thinking I'd watch and see for myself. For the first few days, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Ashley was calm, cheerful, doing her usual routine. If she was cheating, she was hiding it flawlessly. I kept watching, waiting for some slip-up, but saw nothing. Part of me wanted to believe that it was all a misunderstanding, just a cruel coincidence. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. I needed proof. So I swallowed my pride and hired a private investigator. This wasn't about being petty. It was about protecting my sanity. I needed to know the truth, even if it tore me apart. The investigator promised to be thorough and take his time. That was fine with me. I'd already been living with this uncertainty long enough. Over a month passed. Every day felt like a year. And then finally, the call came. When I met with him, I thought I was ready. I wasn't. He didn't waste time. He pulled out his phone and showed me the photos and videos. There she was, Ashley, with another man. And these weren't blurry, faraway shots. They were clear, undeniable. I stared at the man in those photos, realizing for the first time that this was the person who had been sleeping with my wife while I was out there breaking my back for her. The investigator had tracked her movements for weeks, and now I had solid proof. The pain hit me in a way I can't describe. I had suspected it, yes, but seeing it with my own eyes was different. What hurt most wasn't just that she had cheated. It was that she came home every day, acted normal, cooked dinner, kissed me goodnight, while carrying the secret. That's the part one still can't wrap my head around. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to confront her right then and there. Another part of me didn't want to destroy everything in one moment of rage. I couldn't tell if my love for her was stronger than my pride, or if my pain was louder than my heart. I sat with that evidence for days, replaying everything in my head. Eventually, I called the investigator back and told him to find out more about the other man. A few days later, he called with the details. His name was Michael, married, with a kid, and his wife, Dorothy, had no idea. At first, I considered staying out of it. Why get involved in someone else's marriage when mine was falling apart? But the more I thought about it, the more I knew I couldn't stay silent. So I contacted Dorothy and arranged to meet her at a quiet park. When she arrived, I could see the pain in her eyes before she even sat down. I showed her everything, photos, videos, and to my surprise, she didn't even flinch. She already knew Michael had been unfaithful, but what she told me next left me stunned. Dorothy had bruises on her arms, fresh ones. When I asked about them, she broke down. She told me Michael was not just a cheater, but an abuser. He had threatened her life more times than she could count. Told her that if she ever tried to leave, he'd kill her. She had been living in constant fear. My heart broke for her. I told her to start documenting everything. Texts, photos, medical records. Anything that could protect her if she decided to leave. We sat there quietly, two broken souls carrying different versions of the same pain. Deciding to end my marriage wasn't easy. Even with all the proof, I still struggled. It's strange how your mind clings to the good memories when the truth is right in front of you. But I knew staying would destroy me. So I filed for divorce, quietly, properly, without warning her. When Ashley got served, she stormed to me in tears, asking what it meant. I simply handed her my phone and showed her the photos. She froze. No excuses, no words. Just silence, followed by sobs. I turned around and walked away. It was over. Meanwhile, Dorothy began gathering everything she could against Michael. Evidence, police reports, text messages. With my help, she finally filed for divorce, applied for a restraining order, and later pressed charges for domestic abuse. And this time, justice caught up to him. Months passed. My divorce was finalized. I thought I'd feel relief, but mostly I just felt tired. Through it all, the one person who stood by me was Dorothy. At first, we only spoke about our situations, but slowly, we started checking on each other, sharing more personal conversations, finding comfort in knowing someone else truly understood. Eventually, we started spending time together, not out of revenge, but out of shared healing. One quiet evening, sitting in her living room, we made love for the first time. It wasn't about filling a void, it was about feeling human again. People often ask what's next for me and Dorothy. Honestly, I don't know. We're just taking things one day at a time. But one thing I know for sure, I will never go back to Ashley. That chapter is closed for good. Looking back, I've learned that betrayal doesn't always shout. Sometimes, you don't see the cracks until the whole house collapses. Now I want to ask you, what would you have done if you were me? Would you have handled it differently? Do you think people like Ashley and Michael ever feel true regret? Or do they just move on as if nothing happened? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and your thoughts mean a lot to me. Thanks for listening and sharing this journey with me.